The Grand Council chamber of the Galactic Alliance fell silent as the holographic display showed another fleet vanishing from existence. 17 alien species, once proud and mighty, now faced extinction at the hands of the Void Dominion. "We have lost the Centauri system," announced Council Elder Rune, his gray skin paling further. "Our defense perimeter has collapsed at 3 key junctions." The vast circular room was filled with representatives from all remaining Alliance worlds. Some stood tall with multiple limbs, others floated in special atmosphere chambers, but all shared the same look of fear. The Void Dominion had destroyed 4 planetary systems in just 60 days. Elder Rune's 6-fingered hand trembled as he adjusted the holographic display. Red warning symbols blinked across formerly safe trade routes. "The enemy advances faster than we can evacuate civilians. Our largest battleships are being destroyed in minutes." An angry buzz filled the chamber. Many council members began shouting at once. "We should surrender while our homeworlds still exist," called out a representative with blue-feathered wings. "Never. My people would rather die fighting," roared another with tusks and armored skin. Commander Tahoe Park, a veteran tactician with scales that shimmered like polished obsidian, watched the chaos with growing frustration. After 30 years of military service, he had never seen the Alliance so divided. He stepped forward, his tall figure commanding attention. "Honorable Council," he said, his voice cutting through the noise. The chamber quieted. There may be one option remaining. The main display changed as Tahoe tapped commands into his wrist device. A star map appeared, showing a spiral arm of the galaxy that was marked with warning symbols. "Our long-range scouts have observed a species called humans near the forbidden sectors. Their military capabilities are unlike anything we've documented." Murmurs filled the chamber. Contact with unregistered species violated ancient treaties that had kept peace for generations. Elder Rune's eyes widened. "That sector is restricted by the Founding Pact. No contact is permitted until species achieve specific technological milestones." "I am aware of the law," said Tahoe calmly, "but these humans have developed along an unusual path. They appear primitive in some areas, yet advanced beyond our understanding in others." He displayed footage of human ships engaging in training exercises. The vessels moved in ways that defied standard physics models, turning at impossible angles and accelerating with no visible propulsion flare. "Most notably," continued Tahoe, "they fight differently. While our tactics rely on centuries of established doctrine, humans seem to change their approach constantly, adapting in ways our computers cannot predict." A council member with crystalline features rose from her seat. "Even if what you say is true, Commander, we cannot violate the Founding Pact. It would make us no better than the Void Dominion." Tahoe's scales darkened slightly. "With respect, Council Member Leary, the pact exists to protect developing species from exploitation. But the Void Dominion will reach human space in less than 1 standard year. They will not honor any treaties." The room grew quiet as this truth settled over the gathering. "Desperation breeds opportunity," said Tahoe. "I propose we contact them immediately." Elder Rune looked troubled. "And if they refuse to help? Or worse, if they join the Void Dominion?" "Then we are no worse off than we are now," replied Tahoe. "But my analysis of their history suggests humans value independence fiercely. They will not submit to Void rule." After hours of heated debate, the council finally voted. It was close, but the motion passed. Commander Tahoe was given authority to establish first contact with humanity. As the council members filed out, Elder Rune approached Tahoe privately. "I hope your confidence in these humans is not misplaced, Commander." Tahoe's face remained serious. "They are our last hope, Elder. Sometimes, the greatest allies come from unexpected places." Light years away, aboard the human warship Intrepid Captain Ji-Woo Kim walked the quiet night shift bridge. The massive ship was Earth's newest deep space vessel, equipped with technology that had taken decades to perfect. At 36, Ji-Woo was younger than most captains, but her tactical mind had earned her this command. She stopped to look out the main viewport at the stars beyond. The Intrepid patrolled the edge of human space, watching for any signs of the mysterious signal bursts their outposts had detected over the past year. Earth's governments had united after discovering evidence of intelligent life beyond their solar system. While no direct contact had been made, the signals convinced world leaders that humanity needed to prepare. The Intrepid represented that preparation, a ship built not just for exploration, but for defense. "Captain, you should get some rest," said Lieutenant Sung, the night shift officer. "Your shift doesn't start for 4 hours." Jae-woo smiled. "I find it peaceful up here at night, Jun-ho. The endless possibilities out there." A sharp alert tone interrupted her thoughts. The main console flashed with incoming data. Jae-woo rushed to the station, Jun-ho right behind her. The screen showed a signal unlike anything in their databases. "It's coming from beyond our patrol route," said Jae-woo, her eyes narrowing as she studied the complex pattern. "And it's definitely not human." Jun-ho's hands flew over the controls. "It contains mathematical sequences. I think it's a language primer." "Can we track the source?" asked Jae-woo. "Yes, Captain. It's coming from the Theta sector, about 3 light days from our position." Jae-woo straightened her uniform jacket, her mind racing with possibilities. Humanity had prepared for this moment for generations, developing weapons and shields while hoping they would never be needed. "Alert the command crew and wake the communications team," she ordered. "And Jun-ho?" "Yes, Captain. Let's hope whoever sent this wants to talk, not fight." The signal continued to pulse on the screen, carrying with it a message that would forever change humanity's place in the galaxy. The Intrepid emerged from hyperspace at the coordinates specified in the mysterious transmission. The massive warship slowed as its engines adjusted to normal space. Stars appeared as pinpricks of light against the black void. Captain Jae-woo stood tall on the bridge, her uniform crisp despite the tension crackling through the air. "All systems normal, Captain," reported the navigation officer. "We have arrived exactly at the transmitted coordinates." Jae-woo nodded. "Maintain alert status. Shields at full power but weapons in standby mode. Let's not appear hostile unless we need to." The bridge crew worked quietly at their stations. Each officer had been specially chosen for this mission. They were the best Earth had to offer, trained for years for the possibility of alien contact. Still, training was different from reality. "Captain, 3 vessels approaching from Sector 7, announced the sensor officer. "Design unknown. Nothing matching our database." "On screen," ordered Jae-woo. The main view screen shifted to show 3 sleek vessels. They looked almost organic in design, with curved hulls that shimmered with an iridescent quality. They were smaller than the Intrepid but moved with remarkable precision. "They're hailing us, Captain," said the communications officer. "The translation matrix is processing their language." Jae-woo straightened her already perfect posture. "Open channel." The screen changed to show the interior of the lead alien vessel. A tall, reptilian being stood in what appeared to be a command center. Its scales shimmered like polished obsidian, and vertical pupils studied the humans with intense focus. "I am Commander Taeho Park of the Galactic Alliance," the alien said, its mouth moving slightly out of sync with the translated words. "You have answered our call. We are grateful." Jae-woo stepped forward. "I am Captain Jae-woo Kim of the Earth vessel Intrepid. We received your transmission and came to investigate." Taeho's reptilian features regarded the humans with poorly concealed shock. His eyes darted around what he could see of the Intrepid's bridge. "Your ship design defies conventional physics," he stated bluntly. "Our scans indicate propulsion and shielding technologies that should not be possible at your species' development stage." Jae-woo smiled slightly. "Humans often do. Now tell me why you've risked exposing yourselves to a species you've been monitoring from afar." Taeho's scales seemed to darken slightly, perhaps their version of a blush. You knew we were watching. We've detected various probes and signals near our outer colonies for years, Jiwoo said, revealing only part of the truth. We are not as primitive as you might think. Taiho nodded slowly. Then perhaps there is hope after all. Over the next 20 minutes, Taiho explained the dire situation facing the Galactic Alliance. He described how the Void Dominion had appeared from beyond the galactic rim 2 years ago, consuming everything in its path. Planets were stripped of resources, populations enslaved or worse. The Alliance, despite its combined might of 17 species, had been unable to stop the advance. Their technology seems to adapt to our weapons, Taiho explained. What works in one battle is useless in the next. We've lost over 30% of Alliance territory. As Taiho continued his explanation, Lieutenant Dae Sung Choi, the ship's tactical officer, leaned toward Jiwoo. Captain, they don't realize we've known about the wider galactic community for decades, he whispered. It was true. 60 years ago, a damaged alien scout ship had crashed on Earth's moon. The technology recovered had accelerated human development by centuries. More importantly, the ship's database had revealed the existence of the Galactic Alliance and their observation protocols for developing worlds. Earth's nations had made a critical decision: to appear less advanced than they were while secretly preparing for eventual contact. The Intrepid and ships like it contained technologies reverse-engineered and improved upon by human scientists working in secret. Let's keep it that way, Jiwoo whispered back. Tactical advantage matters. On screen, Taiho was showing star maps of Void Dominion territory. We believe they will reach your sector within 1 standard year. You would face them alone unless we join your alliance now, finished Jiwoo, and bring our unconventional approaches to the fight. Taiho nodded. Precisely. The Council has authorized me to offer Earth provisional membership and protection in exchange for military assistance. Jiwoo was considering her response when a sharp alarm sounded on both ships. The alien commander turned to look at something off-screen, his scaled face showing clear alarm. Multiple vessels dropping out of faster-than-light travel. Void signatures confirmed. Void scout ships, hissed Taiho, turning back to the screen. They'd found us. Jiwoo's expression hardened. She turned to her crew, who were already moving with practiced efficiency. Battle stations, power weapon systems, tactical, analyze their approach vectors, and identify vulnerabilities. She turned back to the screen where Taiho watched with a mixture of fear and curiosity. Commander, move your vessels behind us. The Intrepid will handle this. But there are 5 void ships approaching, protested Taiho. Even our cruisers cannot stand against those odds. Jiwoo allowed herself a small smile. Then they're about to find out what humans are capable of. She turned to her weapons officer. Target lead vessel. Particle cannons only for now. Let's not show all our cards in the first hand. The bridge lights dimmed as power flowed to the weapons systems. Through the view screen, Jiwoo could see the approaching void ships, angular black vessels that seemed to absorb the starlight around them. This is not how I imagined first contact would go, Jiwoo said quietly. But perhaps it's fitting. Earth has prepared for this moment for generations. The tactical display showed the void ships moving into attack formation. They clearly expected an easy victory against unknown prey. Weapons locked, Captain, reported the weapons officer. Fire when ready, ordered Jiwoo. The Intrepid surged forward, closing the distance to the enemy at speeds that made Taiho's crew gasp in disbelief. The first demonstration of human warfare was about to begin. The Intrepid moved in ways that defied the understanding of both allies and enemies. Where Void Dominion targeting systems predicted one trajectory, the human vessel would be elsewhere, striking from impossible angles. The massive human warship spun on its axis, engines flaring in patterns that made no sense to conventional space tactics. 5 void ships fired dark energy beams that missed by mere meters. The intrepid slipped between their formation like water through fingers. Hard to port, then full reverse thrust on my mark, Captain Jiwoo called out, her voice steady despite the chaos around her. The bridge crew worked as one organism, each member linked through neural interfaces that connected their minds directly to the ship's systems. Where other species relied on physical controls and verbal commands, humans had learned to think their orders directly to the vessel. Neural link response time is 4 times faster than their weapons can track, reported Lieutenant Daesung as the ship executed another gravity-defying maneuver. His hands danced across his tactical station, but his eyes remained closed as his mind directly processed battle data. They're trying to predict our movements using standard evasion algorithms. Jiwoo smiled. Then let's be unpredictable. Execute battle pattern thunderstorm. The intrepid suddenly cut all engines, drifting in space for 3 seconds, long enough for the void ships to adjust their aim. Then all thrusters fired simultaneously in different directions. The massive warships seemed to blink out of existence before reappearing behind the enemy formation. Weapons hot. Target their rear shields, ordered Jiwoo. Beams of concentrated energy lashed out from the intrepid's forward batteries. The targeted void ship shields flared bright blue before collapsing. A second volley tore through the unprotected hull, and the enemy vessel broke apart in a silent explosion. From the Alliance observation vessel positioned at a safe distance, Commander Taeho watched in stunned silence as the single human warship systematically dismantled a void squadron that would have decimated 3 of their cruisers. "Impossible," whispered his science officer, Nari, her 4 eyes wide with disbelief. "The human ship changes direction without deceleration. It violates basic physics." Taeho leaned forward, his scaled hands gripping the edge of the console. "They fight like no species I have ever seen. Look at how they target. They're not following standard ship weak points." On the screen, the intrepid fired short, precise bursts at seemingly random points on the void ships. But the results were devastating. One enemy vessel lost engine power while another spun out of control, its weapon systems offline. "They're identifying vulnerabilities we cannot see," said Taeho, his voice filled with wonder. "In all our battles, we've never managed to disable void ships so efficiently." Neri shook her head. "Our tacticians have studied void vessels for months without finding such weaknesses." "Perhaps," said Taeho thoughtfully, "we have been looking with the wrong eyes." Aboard the intrepid Intelligence Officer Hyun-Soo Lee worked in the analysis chamber 1 deck below the main bridge. While the battle raged outside, he processed real-time data streaming from the ship's sensors. The room was dark except for the glow of holographic displays showing detailed schematics of the void ships. Hyun-Soo had served in Earth's intelligence division for 15 years. His specialty was pattern recognition, finding the hidden structure within chaos. His fingers traced lines across the holographic displays as his neural link processed information faster than any computer. "There's something odd about their shield frequency," he muttered to himself. "It's not random. There's a pattern." He expanded a section of data showing energy fluctuations in the void shields. Most species would see only chaotic spikes and dips in power, but Hyun-Soo saw music, a rhythm with precise timing. "Computer, overlay shield fluctuations with standard time signatures," he commanded. The display changed, showing how the enemy shields pulsed in a complex but predictable pattern. Each pulse lasted exactly 0.047 seconds, too brief for most organic eyes to perceive, but perfect for machine targeting. "Captain, I found something," he called to Jiwoo through the ship's communication system. "Their shield harmonics have a fluctuation cycle no Alliance species can perceive quickly enough to exploit, but our targeting systems can." On the bridge, Jiwoo received Hyun-Soo's findings directly through her neural link. She saw what he saw, the hidden rhythm of the enemy defenses, and the precise moment when each shield would be at its weakest. "Excellent work, Hyun-Soo," she replied. Send the timing data to weapons control immediately. Jiawu turned to her weapons officer. Recalibrate all weapons to fire in synchronized bursts matching these patterns. Each shot needs to hit during the shield's low phase. Yes, Captain. Recalibrating now. Outside, the battle continued. The Intrepid had destroyed 2 void ships, but the remaining 3 had adapted to the human vessel's movement patterns. They fired continuously, trying to predict where the Intrepid would be rather than tracking its current position. A glancing hit rocked the human ship, causing consoles to spark on the bridge. Shields holding at 82%, reported the defense officer. They're getting better at anticipating our moves. Jiawu's eyes gleamed with determination. Then it's time to change the game. Weapons status. Recalibration complete, Captain. All weapons sensed shield fluctuation patterns. Excellent. Prepare for attack run. But first, let's give our new allies a demonstration of human ingenuity. Jiawu opened a channel to the Alliance observation vessel. Commander Tahoe, we've identified a weakness in void shielding. I'm sending you the data now. Tahoe's reptilian face appeared on screen, his eyes wide with surprise. You found a weakness already. Their shields cycle in a pattern too fast for organic perception, but our neural interfaces can track it. There's a split-second vulnerability we can exploit. Jiawu closed the channel and turned to her helm officer. Bring us about. Full attack pattern Delta. The Intrepid surged forward, directly toward the 3 remaining void ships. To observers, it looked like suicide, charging headfirst into enemy fire. But Jiawu had other plans. Weapons locked on all targets, reported the weapons officer. Firing solution ready. Fire on my mark, Jiawu commanded. She watched as the targeting system counted down to the precise moment when all 3 enemy shields would be in their vulnerable phase simultaneously. 3, 2, 1. Mark. The Intrepid's weapons discharged in perfect synchronization. Beams of energy struck each void ship at exactly the same moment, bypassing their shields as if they didn't exist. The weapons hit with surgical precision, targeting propulsion and weapons systems rather than attempting to destroy the vessels outright. All 3 enemy ships suddenly drifted powerless in space, their main systems offline. In the Alliance observation vessel, Commander Tahoe and his crew stared in disbelief. They disabled all 3 ships with a single volley, said Nari. How is this possible? Tahoe studied the data the humans had shared. The shield fluctuation is there, just as they said. But the timing required to exploit it. He shook his head in wonder. No wonder the Council was desperate to contact them. On the Intrepid's bridge, Jiawu allowed herself a small smile of satisfaction. Secure from battle stations. Prepare boarding teams to extract data from the disabled vessels before their self-destruct systems activate. Lieutenant Daesung looked up from his console. Should we destroy them completely, Captain? No, Jiawu replied. We need to learn everything we can about our enemy. And I want the Alliance to see that humans don't just destroy. We adapt and learn. Jiawu's eyes gleamed as she studied the disabled enemy ships on the view screen. Let's prepare a surprise for their next attack. This was only their scouting party. The real battle is yet to come. The Alliance fleet, now integrated with human battle strategies, assembled at Nexus Point, prepared for what would likely be their final stand. Over 200 ships from 17 different species formed a defensive line around the last major Alliance stronghold. Their hulls bore the scars of recent battles, hasty repairs visible even from a distance. The Intrepid had spent weeks conducting lightning raids against void supply lines, buying precious time. Each mission had been more dangerous than the last as the void adapted to human tactics. But Captain Jiawu and her crew had succeeded where others failed, destroying key enemy resources and gathering critical intelligence. The human warship now docked at the Alliance command station, its hull marked with burn patterns from enemy weapons fire. Inside, Engineers worked around the clock to repair systems and prepare for the coming battle. In the central war room, Captain Jiwoo and Commander Taiho stood before a large tactical display showing the current positions of all Alliance forces. Holographic projections of ship movements floated above the table, shifting as they tested different battle plans. "If we position our heavy cruisers here," said Jiwoo, pointing to a section of space near a small moon, "we can use its gravity to boost our evasive maneuvers while maintaining firing lines." Taiho nodded, his scaled skin reflecting the blue light of the display. The Void typically ignores natural features in space. They see them as obstacles, not advantages. "That's their weakness," said Jiwoo. "They think in straight lines. We need to think in curves." Around them, officers from both human and Alliance forces worked together, sharing knowledge and adapting to each other's methods. It had not been an easy integration. Many Alliance commanders initially resisted the strange human tactics, but after seeing the Intrepid's success, even the most traditional leaders had changed their minds. Jiwoo moved a section of fighters to a new position on the display. "Your pilots have improved dramatically in the past week. The simulator scores show they've almost mastered the new formation flying. Your training methods are intense," said Taiho with a small smile. "3 of my best pilots collapsed from exhaustion yesterday. But they'll be ready for battle today," Jiwoo replied. "And they'll survive because of it." Taiho studied the human captain closely. In the weeks since their first meeting, he had come to respect her deeply. Jiwoo was unlike any commander he had served with before. She could be ruthlessly logical when planning an attack, yet showed deep compassion for those under her command. "Your species fights like no other," said Taiho. "You combine logical precision with emotional intensity. It makes you unpredictable." Jiwoo smiled. "On Earth, we call it thinking outside the box. Our history is filled with conflicts that taught us to adapt or perish. My people have known peace for millennia," Taiho admitted, his voice growing quiet. "Until the Void came." He turned to look out the large viewport where the Alliance fleet hung in space, a thin line of defense against the coming darkness. "We forgot how to fight. Our weapons became symbols rather than tools. Our tactics grew stale." "Peace is worth protecting," said Jiwoo, placing a hand briefly on his armored shoulder. "But sometimes you need people who remember war." An Alliance officer approached them, her tentacled form moving quickly across the room. "Commander, Captain, the fleet is in position. All ships report ready status." Taiho nodded. "Thank you, Lieutenant Mina. Please inform the Council that we—" A sharp alarm cut through his words. The tactical display flashed red as new data streamed in from long-range sensor buoys placed throughout the system. "Multiple hyperspace signatures detected," called out the sensor officer. "Massive energy readings consistent with Void battle groups." Jiwoo moved quickly to the main console. "How many?" The officer's 4 eyes blinked rapidly as he processed the incoming data. "First wave shows at least 300 ships. More are still emerging from hyperspace." Long-range sensors lit up with warnings. The Void Armada had arrived, thousands of warships darkening the stars. The display struggled to track them all, the red dots merging into solid blocks of color as more and more enemy vessels appeared. The war room fell silent. Everyone present understood what they were seeing. The Void had committed their main force to this battle. They intended to crush the Alliance once and for all. "They outnumber us at least 15 to 1, said Taiho quietly. "Even with your tactics, Captain." Jiwoo's face showed no fear, only determination. "Numbers aren't everything, Commander." She turned to address the entire room. "This is the moment we've prepared for. The Void believes we'll retreat or surrender when faced with overwhelming force. They expect us to behave as we have in previous encounters." Jiwoo's voice grew stronger. "But they've never faced humans before. Not in our full capacity." She turned to the communications officer. "Open a secure channel to Earth Command, Priority Alpha." "Channel open, Captain," came the reply moments later. Ji-Woo tapped her communication badge. Captain Ji-Woo to Earth Command. Execute Protocol Avalanche. A brief pause, then a voice responded. Confirmed, Captain. Protocol Avalanche is authorized. Support will arrive in 20 minutes. The Alliance officers looked at each other in confusion. Taiho stepped closer to Ji-Woo. What is Protocol Avalanche? We've shared all our resources already. Ji-Woo's lips curved into a small smile. Not all of them, Commander. When humans first discovered we weren't alone in the galaxy, we began preparing. The Intrepid is not our only warship. Understanding dawned on Taiho's face. You have a fleet, but our scouts never detected. Stealth technology, Ji-Woo explained. Another human specialty. We've kept our main battle group hidden behind the 7th planet of this system since we arrived. 30 ships, each as powerful as the Intrepid . Excited murmurs spread through the war room. Hope replaced despair on the faces of the Alliance officers. Why didn't you tell us sooner? Asked Taiho. We needed to be certain of the Void strategy, Ji-Woo replied. If they had discovered our fleet too early, they might have changed their plans. Now they've committed their forces exactly where we want them. Ji-Woo turned back to the tactical display, studying the approaching enemy armada. The Void believes this is our last stand. They're right about one thing. This will be the decisive battle. She adjusted the display to show a new formation. But they don't realize they're sailing into a trap. Taiho looked at the human captain with new respect. You planned this from the beginning. Earth has faced extinction before, said Ji-Woo. We learned to think many steps ahead. Outside, the Alliance fleet began moving into battle formation as the Void Armada approached. The next 20 minutes would determine the fate of 17 species and humanity's place in the galaxy. The space beyond the galactic rim shimmered as humanity revealed its hand. Not one fleet but 7 emerged from hyperspace. Hundreds of ships, each different in design and purpose. They appeared at strategic points around the battlefield like pieces on a game board, each fleet targeting a different section of the Void Armada. The first fleet consisted of massive dreadnoughts, their hulls black as night with glowing blue energy lines running along their sides. The second contained smaller, faster attack vessels that moved in tight formations. The third deployed what appeared to be mobile defense platforms. The 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th fleets each revealed unique designs and capabilities unseen in galactic warfare. On the Alliance command station, alarms blared as sensors detected the new arrivals. Officers rushed to battle stations, initially fearing another enemy force had joined the Void. But when the identification signals reached their computers, a wave of shocked silence swept through the command center. By the Ancient Ones, gasped Taiho as the human fleet moved into formation. His scaled hands trembled as he watched the tactical display. There must be over 500 vessels. Ji-Woo stood tall beside him, her face showing no surprise. The coordinated human armada represents Earth's united forces, weapons forged through centuries of conflict and innovation. Each fleet specializes in different aspects of warfare. You said 30 ships, Taiho said, still struggling to process what he was seeing. I said the Intrepid's battle group had 30 ships. Ji-Woo corrected with a small smile. I never mentioned the other 6 battle groups. The Void Armada, clearly detecting the new threat, began to adjust their formation. Their ships turned to face the unexpected human fleets, energy weapons charging. But they had committed their forces to attacking the Alliance's position. Now they found themselves caught between 2 forces. All Alliance vessels maintain current positions. Ji-Woo ordered over the fleet-wide channel. Human forces will engage the enemy from behind. Prepare to advance on my mark. The Intrepid broke away from the command station, engines flaring bright as it moved to join the first human battle group. Captain Ji-Woo sat in her command chair, now aboard her ship where she belonged. Battle stations. All hands prepare for combat, she ordered. Tactical. Link our targeting systems with all human vessels. Navigation, set course to spearhead the attack. The Intrepid led the charge. Captain Ji Woo's voice calmed as she coordinated the attack. Human vessels employed tactics that seemed suicidal until the moment they proved brilliant. A group of smaller ships flew directly into a void formation, only to split apart at the last second, confusing enemy targeting systems. Larger vessels deliberately took glancing hits on reinforced sections to open firing lines for their allies. Where Alliance ships fought with precision, human vessels fought with controlled chaos, creating patterns the void could not predict. They seemed to move as individuals yet worked together perfectly, like dancers performing a complex routine that only made sense when viewed as a whole. In the Intrepid's analysis chamber, Intelligence Officer Hyun-Soo worked frantically, processing real-time data from hundreds of void ships. The shield frequency pattern he had discovered earlier was present in all of them, but with subtle variations. The main battle cruisers have a slightly different shield rhythm, he reported to Ji-woo. Adjusting targeting parameters now. Hyun-Soo transmitted the shield weakness to all human ships. Their weapons struck with perfect timing, collapsing void defenses across the battlefield. Where once the Alliance had struggled to damage even a single void vessel, now dozens of enemy ships drifted powerless, their shields bypassed as if they didn't exist. Alliance vessels, advance now, Ji-woo commanded. Target these coordinates with everything you have. The Alliance fleet surged forward, their weapons finding targets the humans had exposed. It was a perfect coordination between two different fighting styles, the methodical precision of the Alliance combined with the adaptive chaos of humanity. Aboard the largest void vessel, the Supreme Commander watched in growing horror as his forces were systematically dismantled. The tactical display showed unprecedented losses, with nearly 30% of his ships already disabled or destroyed. More importantly, the humans had somehow pierced the Void's greatest advantage: their adaptive shields. Impossible, the Supreme Commander hissed, his pale features contorted with rage. These creatures were barely space-capable when we began our campaign. His second-in-command approached cautiously. Supreme One, we are losing too many ships. The human weapons bypass our shields as if they know the exact frequency patterns. Because they do, the Supreme Commander realized. Somehow they can see what no other species can perceive. He stared at the battle display for several more seconds before making his decision. Order all ships to execute escape protocol. We must regroup and develop countermeasures. The Void Supreme Commander, faced with unprecedented losses, ordered a retreat. Across the battlefield, enemy vessels began jumping to hyperspace, abandoning disabled allies, and fleeing the devastating human Alliance attack. The galaxy watched as humanity turned the tide of a war that had seemed unwinnable. Word spread quickly through Alliance communication channels. Species that had been preparing for extinction now celebrated their salvation. The humans had arrived just in time. 3 weeks later, Captain Ji-woo stood before the Galactic Alliance Council, her uniform adorned with new medals. The Grand Chamber was filled beyond capacity, with representatives from all 17 Alliance species present for this historic moment. Even species that had lost their homeworlds sent survivors to witness the occasion. Elder Rune, who had barely survived the battle at Nexus Point, addressed the assembly. Today marks a new chapter in our shared history. The Alliance welcomes its 18th member, humanity. Ji-woo stepped forward, her posture perfect, her expression solemn yet proud. She had been chosen to represent Earth in this moment, a responsibility she did not take lightly. Earth formally extends greetings to the galactic community, she announced, her voice carrying throughout the chamber. We come offering friendship, and a reminder that some threats require strength to overcome. The chamber erupted in applause and various alien expressions of approval. Many Alliance species had initially feared humans after witnessing their battle prowess, but they had also seen how human medics worked tirelessly to save wounded from all species, how human engineers helped repair damaged Alliance vessels, and how human diplomats approached each culture with respect and curiosity. In the archives of 1,000 worlds, scholars began studying human history, their expressions a mixture of wonder and wariness. They learned of Earth's many wars, but also its many moments of peace and cooperation. They discovered a species of contradictions, capable of both terrible violence and extraordinary compassion. Commander Taiho approached Jiwoo after the ceremony. "Your people will change everything," he said. "The alliance will never be the same." "Change can be good," Jiwoo replied with a smile. "Besides, the void is still out there, regrouping. We'll need to be ready when they return." Taiho nodded. "With humans fighting alongside us, I believe we will be." Across the galaxy, one conclusion became universally accepted. Better to have humans as allies than as enemies. The species that had arrived just in time to save the Alliance had earned both respect and caution. No one knew what the future would bring, but with humanity now part of the galactic community, it would certainly never be boring. The end.